Nope, 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 nope.
All right, happy Monday, VV Nation. I see we got Jake and Golden Child already in the comment section here. The alert will be hitting in just a moment. So as always, we're going to be patient. Let everyone else make their way into the room. I hope everyone had a good weekend here. Fix the iOS app, please. Customer support is no problem. I'll tell you right now, all the software and both apps were down for quite a bit this morning, but they did go up. Everything seems to be working now for at least the last half hour to an hour. All right, see everyone making their way into the room. The alert just hit, it seems. All right, see here. Write this down. All right, so it does seem everyone can hear me. Everyone could see me. Perfect. Lala says the hood is going crazy up. I did see the cryptos going up as well. At least the crypto miners I was looking at. All right, so we're just going to take a look at the VectorVest 7 software. Yep, I see the viewership. Everyone's making their way into the room, so give it just a moment here. Nori says RZLV. Can you look into it? Nori, I can definitely look at that one. I'm just going to let you know right now when it comes to stock picks at the end of the session, I don't care about NVIDIA. I don't care about Google or SMCI. Most of today's video, we're going to focus on baggers. That's right, bagger stocks. I want low price, low market cap stocks when it comes to that time. All right. Bill says, just did. Thanks for the reminder. I made a big jump into Oklo. All right, Jazz. I do like Oklo. I think there's much more potential with Oklo. A lot of the AI data centers. Because now we're in the new Cold War is the AI war, right? That's the new Cold War between China and the United States. So we're just going to get right into the topics real quick because I do have some news based on that. I can't decide if I want to invest in it or not. DRD. Let's take a look at DRD. I ain't got a problem with that. Let's just take a look at the news stories real quick because there are some important things here. Where are my news stories? Maybe it's this one. Oh, I gotta go back around. Got too many windows open here. All right, I think this is news stories. Yep, that one was empty. All right, so start off this week. All right, there we go. Earnings. Yep. So as far as earnings this week, it's very minimal right now. We've got Carnival, this Vail Resorts Mountain. I'm pretty interested to see what that does. My mom actually works for them out in Colorado. Now, as far as earnings, again, light. The biggest thing this week, other than Carnival Cruise Lines, it's Nike. And then after Tuesday, I mean, there's not much for big earnings coming out. You got Cal-Maine Foods on Wednesday, Thursday, pretty much done. Friday, done. Ryan, maybe talk on favorite searches for AI stocks. That's not a bad one. We can do that. We can do some fishing in Unisearch and learn how to Unisearch a little bit more. I can't just see your CCL earnings. Yeah, so as far as earnings, that's it. So it's real light. So we're going to put more a little bit focus on the economic data coming out this week. There's a lot of data. Not big inflation data. No, we ain't got an interest rate decision, right? We're past all that stuff, right? But now we've got a whole lot of Fed members coming out, right? I don't know if you saw the Cleveland Fed. Her commentary this morning talking about the challenges of inflation, things of that, right? So again, just a lot of Fed people speaking this week. That can create volatility. Obviously the biggest concern right now is growth in the job market versus inflation, and obviously the tariffs and how that's going to affect inflations. But other than that, look, we got jobs data coming out early as Tuesday, right? Consumer confidence. So 10 a.m. shortly after the market opens on Tuesday, especially if you're day trading. Don't forget about these two because they can move the market, especially things like the Qs, very popular day trading entities, right? So that could create some short-term volatility. As far as Wednesday, again, a lot of economic data, ADP data, construction spending, right? So if you bought some home builders last week based off of that sales boost, what was it, 20% sales boost in home builders? Yeah, that's probably going to affect those stocks, right? ISM manufacturing. So we've got consistent, important data coming out all week that can create a little bit of volatility or a little whipsawing. So don't just keep that on your radar, right? Friday, again, finishing up with unemployment data. So just keep all that good stuff on your radar. Now, here's an interesting article. It's like 1999 all over again. I don't know if I necessarily would agree with this guy. He says the market is rising as even economic warning signs increase, including the deteriorating jobs, housing markets, reminiscent of past bubbles. The AI revolution is powering most of the growth in the economy. It's hard to argue that one, right? Because most of the stocks we're talking about making money off are, the NVIDIA, the AMD, the software companies, the NBIS, the CoreWeaves, the Palantir, the stock of the year, Palantir, right? It's all AI. Again, I'm not saying it's a bubble, but you do not want to be caught left holding the bag on a lot of these AI companies, right? We've all noticed in the VectorVest 7 software, some of these are well overvalued. Some of the, the forecast and all the hopes and dreams, a lot of that stuff's already baked in, So just just be honest with yourself with some of your positions, right? That's all I want to say. But as far as, 1999, I was a small youngling then, right? So I don't know. I can only relate more to the 2008 or even recently, the COVID situation, right? But I do see some eerie similarities between 2008 and here. All right, so that's all I'm going to say on that matter. So just keep your head on a swivel. Trust me, if things come out and I have that kind of thing, have that more inclination of that stuff, clearly I'm going to talk to you guys about it. But just something says, at least me personally, keep that head on a swivel right now. One of the things that could cause some problems in the future, right? I'm talking about this, China. Just about every stock pick I has to do this year has to do with China. Trust me, it's not because I like China or dislike China. It's just because that's where the money's being made, The decoupling, right? The polarization of the world. Rare earths, NVIDIA. I almost see, these semiconductors, NVIDIA, AMD, just as important as real defense companies, right? So again, Huawei. Last week, I know it was Sick Friday. I do apologize about that. But it was a good weekend. As you can tell, I'm pretty amped up today. So it's all about making money today. Huawei, don't sleep on this news. Don't sleep on China. Trust me, I studied semiconductors quite a bit, as you all know. I'm not saying they're there. I'm not saying they're a threat yet, but they will be. And just like every other industry, if China can come out with semiconductors close to NVIDIA's, close to AMD's, guess what? They're going to be cheaper, and the world's going to want them, right? So just keep that on your radar going forward. Because the more I learn about Huawei, and I already did a video on SMIC. When I did the NVIDIA earnings video, what did I talk about? The history of SMIC, right? So to really, to put it bluntly, you want to know your competitor, right? Huawei, Chinese, that is NVIDIA's competitor, right? Not just NVIDIA, but ASML, TSM, ARM, AMD, the semiconductor mafia, as I coined it. They're playing against China. And the article I had picked here, this one right here, it's all about this. Government support, right? We've seen how China can easily adapt in economic and industrial applications. Again, that government support, they are pouring billions and billions and billions, way more money than we're pouring in our semiconductor fabs. And on top of it, they can do business cheaper. So not only are they pouring more money, but they get more bang for their buck, right? So again, don't sleep on them as a competitor going forward. Huawei, SMIC. I'll do a video when it becomes more of a threat. But yes, I'm still bullish on NVIDIA. It's neutral, really moving to the side, kind of like AMD moving to the side. The only one's really still bullish, at least last time I looked, was TSM, right? TSM, I've said this before. The only reason why I really got into these semiconductor companies about five years ago, I've been learning about them. It's because of my cousin. He's a pretty much a hacker down in Charleston, and he works for a company developing an app. And I get his opinions. And guess what? He's still holding TSM. He's still holding AMD. He's been holding these guys for a long, long time. And until he says there's another company that's going to take them out, I'm going to be bullish because he knows a lot more about computers and stuff like that. I know more about the stocks and the geopolitics. He knows the hardware and the software side of things more in depth than I do, for sure. So we collaborate a lot. So again, don't sleep on the Chinese threat, okay? But I'm not saying go out and sell your NVIDIAs. I'm still bullish on it, but as time goes on, it's going to be more of a threat going forward. All right. Bill says, "Hi John, are you still in SoFi?" SoFi. That's a good one. That's a good one. I ain't gonna lie. So this is what I thought was interesting. What's the natural demand for EVs in the U.S.? We're about to find out, right? let's see here. It's tomorrow, I believe, but demand. Yep, discontinued after Tuesday. Federal incentives, right? So we're really about to get the, the true sense of, me personally, EVs. They've been subsidized for a while now. Allowed the industry to grow, build its infrastructure. Hey, I'm all for that, right? Especially that's where the future is, because all these EV manufacturers and infrastructure really is the same thing as drones, right? And drones is going to be the future. So we're about to find out. You see, look, federal incentives up to 7,500 place. That's 2008. So it's been over a decade, right? Was that 13 years? No, almost 20 years, right? So 17 years. So it's been a while. So we're going to take a look at these EVs. Some of them are under pressure. And if you're thinking Tesla, that EV price is already baked in. We're waiting on the next things to come from Tesla, right? Exactly. Yeah, but I have it in the list, but I'm not that worried. But I also got XPEV and NIO just as examples. If we get to the list and you have another EV, you can add it. I'll add it to the list here. I think people will still buy EV without incentive, more economical in the long run than gas. Michael, and honestly, I'm not going to disagree with that, right? I'm Rivian. Yes, I'll add Rivian. David, remind me when we get to the watch list. I'll add Rivian. I'll definitely add Rivian. But Tesla, that as an EV stock is long gone, right? We're expecting much more from Tesla. But yes, we're going to take a look at NIO, the Chinese one. Rivian, that's going to be the Saudi-backed one, obviously. But me personally, I don't think it's going to make that big of a dent. If you kind of want an EV, you want an EV. And a lot of these EVs are pretty competitively priced nowadays as well. Li Auto, decent China EV. Yes, Li Auto, definitely agree with that. NIO, Li, but again, what country are we talking about? China. Again, what I'm saying? Don't sleep on China when it comes to their semiconductors. That's all I'm going to say on that. But look what they did with, EVs, right? NIO, companies like Li Auto coming out with beautiful cars, very low priced. And we won't allow them in our markets because of that threat, right? So, again, but I do see this as more of a short-term pullback when it comes to the EV stocks. I do see it as a more short-term pullback. Maybe some buying opportunities there. If you're a big believer in EV, it's not something that I potentially would get into. Which manufacturer is developing solid-state EV? I know they're trying to do the sodium, which is less energy efficient, but less likely to explode and all that good stuff. I did do a video on that, but I don't remember. It was like last summer. It was a while ago. Definitely a while ago. Greg says MPUU. We're going to talk about rare earths as well in this today's presentation here. Another stock I want to talk about, Palo Alto, right? Networks is reaffirmed as a buy following its $25 billion acquisition of CyberArk and a sharp 18% in the share price drop, right? This is acquisition here. And it's supposed to lead to rapid revenue growth, backlog acceleration, industry leading free cash flow margins, right? So a lot of big things here. The backlog surprisingly surged 22% to $19 billion. Again, a lot of demand for this company, right? Is it safe to get back in the water? Market recently pulled back 3 straight days. I saw a video on sodium batteries last night. Really interesting. Yeah, Troy. I believe it was sodium ion is what they call it, because right now it's a lithium ion. It was like a year ago. It's still early in the technology. Honestly, a lot of people didn't watch the video. It's probably why I didn't do a follow-up. A little ahead of its time. But yeah, I think the EV maker that can make a solid or sodium ion battery is not just for the EV cars, but I think about military applications. I think that's really where the money is going to pour into, right? Because we're seeing it with recent conflicts. It's all about drones, right? It's all about drones. Don't know if sodium is less explode. Look for videos tossing pure sodium in the water. Yeah, like I said, it's been a while. It might not have been a sodium, but I know it's a different type of battery. For some reason, I thought it was a salt battery, because one of the reasons, not only is it less, the chances for less explosion, but it gets us off of that lithium dependency, right? Lithium, very dirty chemical. A lot of it's obviously controlled by China and their lithium industry. They control majority of the world's stake here. Peak Energy is developing sodium energy. Interesting. But yeah, let me write that down. Sodium energy. Since there's a lot of interest in it, maybe there's something there. Let's see here. Well, we can find out together, Bill. When does PAN W and CYBR deal? We're about to find out together, Bill. February. Let's see. So the deal is projected to close sometime between February and July 2026. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not an individual who likes to overthink things. But I have a feeling this stock is going to be higher next year around the closing of this deal than it is today. There's just me, trying not to overthink things. All right. But that's a good question, though. Good question. So it looks like a lot of that is going to be in 2026. So if I had to guess, the stock probably jumped up from the deal. Let it take a breather. Find some natural support. Make your entry. And then next year, hopefully if the deal comes through, obviously assuming if it does, the stock price should be much higher, right? Are they profitable? We'll find out. So here's another stock. I want to talk about UAMY. Again, we talked about it quite a bit. Now it's just getting analyst price target raises, right? That was a lot of them last week. But this one right here is 450 to 850. I'm not going to go much more into this one. I've talked about it so much. If you missed out on UAMY, the pullback to that red trend line that I did in the video, that looks like it's coming to fruition here. So if you missed the UAMY trade and you're thinking about getting in, watch the tail end of that UAMY video, and it'll talk about that red line. We're looking for the pivot off of that. If it breaks it, hey, then we can even get in a lower price in the future. And if you're in it and then we get a clear break of that red line, well, I'm going to say probably get more defensive. And UAMY is optionable, so you can sell calls, you can sell the stock, sell a position, or get less exposure. There's a million ways to play, especially because it's got options, and that's nice for a low price stock. Normally, you don't. Usually, there's not a whole lot of options available in low price stocks. But with the stock price so high now recently, just look and see what the contracts are, because the strike prices might just be catching up to UAMY's price right now. I haven't looked at the options recently. So here's another one here. Another stock I've been talking about, Re-Element, right? International America signed long-term commercial partnership to advance U.S. rare earth refining capabilities. AREC. The stock's up like 12% today on the news. Again, another stock we did a couple weeks ago. I think it was about 180 maybe. It jumped up, came back down. Now it's over $3. Telling you, these UAMY stock or these rare earth stocks, these low price ones, that's where the money has been in. And if it ain't fit or if it ain't broken, why am I gonna fix it, right? Another stock I've talked about recently, CoreWeave. This is an article I like. More opportunities than certainties, right? CoreWeave boasts rapid sales growth, a $30 billion backlog, and a unique NVIDIA contract guaranteeing minimum revenue. Risks include high valuation. Again, that's what I've talked about. A lot of these AI stocks, a lot of valuation problems there. That's a bad thing. You just want to make sure you're on the right side of the volatility, right? Wolf Chapter 11. Why 1,000% today? Huh? You want to take a look at Wolf. We've talked about that before. It's up 1,000% today, ABB. I'm just interesting. But yeah, as far as CoreWeave here, I like it, but there's one that's got my attention a little bit more, and that's going to be NBIS stock. Rockets on $17 billion Microsoft deal. I've talked about this when the deal first came out. Reason why I talked about it, because it's $17 billion over the next 5-6 years, right? Break it down. It's a couple $1 billion a year, looking between $2 and $3 billion. Well, the company, when we looked at the revenue last year, it was only around $100 million, right? So you're going from $100 million, potentially billions of dollars here. It's got a $24 billion market cap right now. I wonder if it says it's revenue. It doesn't say it's revenue here. But when I did the video, I remember the revenue was around, I think it was just a little over $100 billion. But it's still, you can see the growth in that revenue. Talking about This Microsoft deal is taking a company with $100 million in revenue last year, and now we're talking billions of dollars, right? So I know it looks like overvalued in the VectorVest software right now, but if this deal comes to fruition, they're gonna get a good deal on it, right? And actually, we'll go on the VectorVest 7 software and see. All right, let's go jump in real quick. Wolf down as much. All right, let's jump in the software here. We're going over to the viewers tab. All right, so first thing, well, I did want to look at this. These AI stocks, these crypto stocks here, again, I said less emphasis on the crypto, more emphasis on the existing AI infrastructure. You see I did the video, in July? Let's just see how they're doing. We'll do a quick test here. We'll just pick a random day. I think it was like mid-July. So let's use July 16th. 52%. And the Q's up 7%. Look at that. Iron, 156%. I think that's the one we've been talking about the most, right? It ain't about crypto no more. I'm going to tell you right now, Bitcoin ain't been doing nothing. It's been, pulled back, just been hovering around 110. Crypto is not the reason why these stocks are going up. It's the existing AI infrastructure. They've got everything. They've got the GPUs. They got the utility contracts. They got it all, right? And they're like, all right, we can get a little bit of money from the crypto people, or we get a whole lot of money from the AI people. And guess what? They're getting both money. They're getting both money, right? So I like it. Again, why overthink things, right? Yeah, they're volatile. So if you're not, if you don't like volatility, probably not for you. And again, just use simple things, trend lines, 20-day EMA, simple things like that. Try not, you could get out there and spice it up all you want with the VWAP, and I could throw some ADRs and all kinds of stuff, but you really don't need it. You really don't. All right, let's go to the stocks here. Let's see here. My watch list. All right, no, we're going to AMA. Where's midday? There you go. Midday market update. News picks. When you are selling them crypto, Ryan, I need to send you flowers. I double my investment in Irene in a month. Alfreda, you can keep the flowers. I'm just kidding. If flowers end up on my desk, I'm going to put them on the live stream. I'm going to give you a shout out, Alfreda. When you are selling them crypto, Ryan, what do you mean selling them crypto, Walter? Michael, volatility decent for intraday, no fun for long holds. Yeah, that's why I said today I don't want the Googles, I don't want the Nvidias, I want the exciting stocks, because that's what's working right now, are the exciting stocks, right? Except Big Bear AI, which is still going off that rejection. Now look at these stocks here. Look where the momentum is. Look where the VST is pointing me. Rare earth, right? So whether you want to listen to me or not, just of all these stocks, the software is naturally pointing me in that position, right? And right below it, we got software here. CyberArk, Nibius, Tesla, Palo Alto. As far as, most of the stocks are up today. Everything except really Neo and just Big Bear AI, to be honest. As far as value here, look, CyberArk trading at 484. We value at 102. Nibius 110. We value at 13. This is interesting. You see how the RV is still above 1, even though the stock is overvalued? That would garnish my attention, right? You know what other stock did that? Palantir, right? Palantir. Pennywise, I don't blame you if you're a fan of Big Bear AI. Again, there was things I see in Big Bear AI that I like, and there's things that I don't like so much about Big Bear AI. The biggest thing I like about him, there's a little guy right here. Look at this market cap. $2.5 billion, right? If it ever even gets close to even CoreWeave or some of these other ones, remember the video I compared it to Palantir, just not comparing it, but just saying if I ever did. But even if it gets close to any of these, I mean, you're talking almost a 10xer here, right? So manage the volatility if you're a believer in Big Bear AI. I do see them. I did notice the naval contract that they recently got. That's good news. And I did say, if we see another contract and another one, guess what other stock did that? Palantir, right? So I'd look out for those government contracts when it comes to Big Bear AI. Now let's go into the charts here. Let's just see where the opportunities are. UAMY, see this red line here? See it's going to keep moving up, and it's right where that 20-day EMA is too. If I had to guess, I'm thinking UAMY is going to touch this line sooner than later. for a retest, and that's going to be the pivot off of it. Value still creeping up. The value is at 384 now, right? Again, the stock is overvalued right now. So, hey, if you're not in a rush to buy it, I don't blame you, right? And if it breaks this red line to the downside, I'm not going to guess where it's going to try to find support at. We'll play it as it goes. But if it breaks this red line here, just be careful. Just know I would be getting more defensive on this position. Forecasted data absolutely looks phenomenal here. And look at the sales growth rate. It ain't running out of fuel for that engine. 187 compared to 49%. That's an awesome stock there. Here's AREC. All I've had is, look at this. Boom, just extend the line. I said when it broke above this, you just want price action to stay above it, and it's still there. So at this point, I don't know where you got into it at, but you probably at least got, a bag or close to a bag already at, 320 here. So if it breaks this line, I would get defensive. Forecasted data, it's not going to look as good as UAMY. Absolutely. But look at the value too. You see the value? We're getting data coming in. So I'm a little bit more stringent on the value here. This, I see more momentum. UAMY, I still see the better play. But this is a rare earth. This is the company that's got a contract. Where is it? Kentucky, where they're going to refine a lot of that ash coal or coal ash for rare earth purposes, right? Jana says, I need to send you a case of beer for AREC. I don't drink beer, but I do drink, I drink local beer. You want to send me some local beer? I do appreciate a local beer here and there. Hey, I do like tequila. All right. But yeah, so the valuation, we talked about this. It ain't coming back up. I see a little bit of movement here. So we're getting, reports, but the reports weren't as good. So it was a good value play. Now I see the momentum there. As far as forecast data, not good. CyberArk, actually, this ain't, lower left, upper right, just the value is not going anywhere. Growth rates declining. Sales growth rates increasing. So I'm not going off this fundamentals here. Stick to the technicals. And right now I'm seeing healthy retest, healthy pivots off that 20-day. Once that day is over and we're not getting healthy pivots off that 20 and we're getting breaks, probably get a little bit more defensive, right? CYBR does automation cybersecurity. Interesting. Walter says, I'm a rum man. Okay. I'm a rum, my friend tequila. Tequila over flowers of beer. Noted. It's Monday. Maybe that's why I want the tequila and not the flowers. All right, let's get through these because I know y'all got some good stock picks as well. But this one, not quite on my radar. Envious, though, this is the one. Think about it. We're valuing at $13 with $100 million of revenue. Say it gets to $1 billion, right? I'm just going to do easy math. Multiply it by 3, right? That brings that valuation up to 130. The deal, and some analysts are thinking $2-3 billion, right? So, yeah, it seems expensive now, but it's just my hunch. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. But here's the technical. You see the ascending channel? Look at this. Broke above it. Unlike Palantir, unlike AMD, remember those ascending channels? Look at that pivot. Someone thinks they're getting a good deal too, right? Because we're seeing that volume, that price action. Let's actually take a look at volume here. Oh, yeah. Look at that conviction there at that retest. Look at the volume is kind of amplified too. Don't miss out on NBIS. I'm not saying chase it right this second. But again, Ryan is still drying out after Vegas. But yeah, NBIS, I know it doesn't look great right now. But with that Microsoft deal, I don't like to overthink it. We're valuing at $13 with $100 million in revenue, and we're talking billions soon. I'm gonna multiply it by 10, and that puts me at $130. I just think this stock's gonna be a lot more expensive once that money starts coming in. That's just personal opinion. All right, Tesla. Oh, finally! Look at this. I haven't looked at it in a while. Look, broke above this little line I had here. Nice little retest. And now we're going back up, but not getting that oomph that I would like to see today off of this retest. But again, it's Tesla. I'm not going to touch it. If you're a Tesla believer, the next thing is this high, and we want to take that out. Otherwise, NBEX if you're feeling extra bullish. Well, Alex, you can look at it two ways. There's a couple different ways to invest in a stock, right? Especially if you got a smaller portfolio, if you don't have a lot of money, right, and you're a believer in NBIS, long-term believer, yeah, you could, dollar cost average, a little month, each month in a double time, 2x leverage ETF or an option potentially, as long as you know about options and the risk with options. But yes, there's ways to leverage your bet with less money, right? So say, you don't want to put too much money in it, but you want to leverage the crap out of it. Alex is giving you a great resource there, NBEX, 2 times leverage. Buy a leap if you can't afford Tesla stock. Is there something coming out with Tesla we need to know? I know we're getting close to the robots. We'll see what happens with the robots. But if the robots fail, or if a competitor comes in with better robots, I don't want to tell you with Tesla. I don't know what to tell you with Tesla. Seeking Alpha had an interesting article about Optimus being obsolete compared to Google's DeepMind work. That's what I'm telling you. The Tesla, they're ahead of the curve, but now everyone's catching up here. And Serve, another robotics. Don't sleep on the companies that NVIDIA's putting money in when it comes to robotics, right? I just think their competition's getting amped up. Here's Palo Alto. Ooh, I just don't like the stock. I know I mentioned the dip here. I think it was this dip. I had talked about it right on the 200-day, and then was it Nancy Pelosi bought it, and then everyone else bought it and shot up. So again, unless Nancy Pelosi's holding it still, I'm not gonna be as bullish on this one. Maybe I got to find the story behind it, but I don't necessarily see it right now. But the deal of Palo Alto doesn't really take effect till next year, right? So this might be why we're seeing this consolidation over the last few months here. Pennywise, you did HON, talking about Honeywell? But yeah, I mean, other than the deal, if we break above this, hey, we're getting that confirmation, right? Well, yeah, it's right there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. Pretty clear. Interesting. Yeah, so Pennywise, I'm telling you right now, I love Honeywell. And they got one of the most beautiful buildings in uptown Charlotte. Honeywell's got their hands in everything. Quantum, Abram tanks, defense. What'd you just mention here? Robotics. You name it. Honeywell's got it. It's not, it's not the most attractive stock. It's not gonna make you a millionaire, but it's a good company. Just look at the dividend. And probably a good one to sell calls against too. Look at the options on it. I'd figured Honeywell played a dividend, so Honeywell would be one of those companies I would look at as a great retirement stock, right? Because it's got all those futuristic projects without the volatility, Phyllis, yeah, SMIC is a Chinese semiconductor. It is not on the. It's not in VectorVest. Nope, not in VectorVest. I wish I had an ETF for it. There might be an ETF with SMIC. Phyllis, again, I wouldn't sleep on him either. I would not sleep on him. That guy, he was taught at MIT. He worked at Texas Instruments, started his own fab company in Taiwan, sold it to Taiwan Semi, and then moved to China and started SMIC. Don't sleep on that guy. Don't sleep on him. I'm telling you. Don't sleep on him. All right. Honeywell volatility is huge. Well, if the volatility is huge, we'll have to take a look at the chart. Might be a good covered call stock. Actually. Honey now announced full separation of aerospace technologies business. That's right. No, I didn't know about that, ABB. I forgot about that. All right, here's Neo. I'm going to tell you right now, my godmother, love her to death. Is there a stock split here? Oh. Yeah, we got to keep going back. I know about Neo. I'm going to tell you why. Because my family bought it right around here. My aunt, my godmother, was the first one to do it. She rode that sucker all the way up here and then rode it all the way back down. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because don't do that. Don't do that. Because now she's praying. Even though actually she's probably back to positive now. I think her dollar cost average around $4 or $5. Now she's back to positive. But again, there's nothing to say. Look at the value. Way overvalued here, right? So that's my story behind Neo. I think the best thing that Neo's... I like Neo. As far as the EV company, I've seen their car. They won't even allow their cars in a lot of markets because they're so good. They'll take out, domestic manufacturing from other countries, right? And just the chart setup. I mean, I see the resistance right here. Boom, look, we're right there. So I'm not going to buy it right now, right at resistance or so close to it. So if you want the confirmation, get above it. Sounds like what happened to everyone holding the ULTY ETF. Oh, God. I did tell her, take some profits and stuff, but when it comes to family and stocks, I just try to, they know what I teach, the trend lines, the 20-day EMA, the 200s, me, keep it simple. If they ignore it, they ignore it, just like if you guys ignore simple technicals on a chart, but again, this stock right here, I will tell you right now, I'll keep it simple. It has got to be no harder than this. Look at that freehand line right up there. It is. It's hovering the 40-day. That freehand line. So I want price action right on this trend line if I'm going to get into it. Nice rejection here. Yeah, I might touch this trend line again. Otherwise, I'm waiting for the breakout to the upside. Wait for the breakout to the upside. XPEV. Let's see. Let's go back to 6 months. Yeah, same thing as Neo, really. Right at close to resistance. I'm not there for it. CoreWeave. Oh, look at CoreWeave. I told you don't get too excited until it breaks out its descending channel. And look what we are about to do. Retesting the top end of that channel. So whether you think it's overvalued or not, or think it's crap, doesn't really matter. Because it's a nice retest. But for my confirmation, I'm going to need it. Oh. Let's close this one here. Oh, there's why. I need the confirmation to be above 131 and some change. Maybe 132. Not mad at it, right? But I see the break. I see the retest. The trade is not quite there, but it's there. Now, if you got in here in the channel, yeah, you got some buffer room, right? You got a little bit more room to play with. But if you're thinking about getting into it, I'd wait for that confirmation. Because if the thing breaks above this, don't worry. I think there'll be plenty of action because you got up to about 166 before you hit any more resistance. Any more resistance. Yeah, ABB, hit that smash button. Smash that like button. BBAI. Clockwork, rejection. Don't tell me I didn't tell you that. I gave you the pivot and I gave you the rejection. What you decided to do with it is up to you. Like I say, try not to get pinged when you're supposed to pong, right? Try not. Oh my God. Do you think Trump will shut down again? I don't care if the government shuts down, Walter. If the government shuts down, guess what? Market's likely to go down. If the market most likely to go down, then make some money off of it. It doesn't matter. Shut it down for all I care. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you right now. Shut it down. Let's make some money. Watch the market go down. I'm gonna buy a put. Buy some volatility, right? Why overthink it? Stocks may drop so I could sell. Well, don't sell after they dropped. Well, don't sell after they drop. Gold spiked today for the shutdown chance. I think the more they talk about the government, the more gold goes up. Again, don't overthink things, people. Oh, I love it. Let's have some fun today. But Big Bear AI, clear rejection, so we're just going to get out of that. All right, I'm going to take your stock picks in 1 second. 1238. That's what we're going to do right now because I don't think the gas in this tank is quite over yet. So we're going to take a look at these. These are the crypto miners I did back in January. Look at this undervalued, sweet darling. Look, I did the video undervalued. Again, if it's in crypto, if it's got to do with crypto, and that thing is even close to its value, AI too, if it's close to a value, if it's under a value, better put it on your radar, right? Better put it on your radar. I'm not saying, the technicals make sense then. Put it on your radar, then wait for the technicals to make sense, right? Because you know how strict our value is. We don't go off the hype. It's a formula that Dr. Dolito made long time ago, right? He doesn't care about the AI hype. He just cares about you, let you know if that stock is truly worth it or not, right? So this one here, undervalued. I see full momentum today. If you're not in it, yeah, take out these prior wicks, right? You'll probably get some resistance at the, this swing high back here. No surprise, right? Forecasted data, look at 35%. Sales growth rate, 90%. Again, lots of fuel, lots of gas for that engine. We want these prices going up. We don't want these stocks running out of fuel. Iron, back in July, slightly overvalued. See diverging away value, but yeah, it's lost track for value. Right now, I'm thinking momentum, and you already know where I'm going. Star Search. Look at that. Still in Star Search. Ride that Star Search till the wheels fall off, right? Make that money. Let's not put too much thought into easy trades here. All right, let's go back. And now, an iron, I'm gonna be right now. If you're not in Iris already, don't chase it. Just try not to chase it. Again, the best time to talk about things are usually when people are not talking about them, right? And everyone's talking about this stuff right now. This one here sounds better than Iris. Looks a little bit better than Iris, but again, it's chase. I like that first stock the best if you haven't entered any of these yet, right? But again, the trade was when I did the video back in July. Look, we're still getting momentum. You know, anytime price action gets close to this 20, close to this 40, yeah, that's probably the better deal, right? You know, so stretched so far away from it, probably not the best deal, because you see right here, it gets stretched from the 20, comes back, right? Stretch from the 20, comes back. That's what we're doing now. We're stretching from the 20. Stretching from the 20. Please hit the like button. Walter says, I'm not something about weed stocks. I'm not repeating that. I smell the crap everywhere I go. Everyone smokes that now. Smells like crap. Everyone smokes it now. So the stores are everywhere. If it wasn't for the vape shops, I think the commercial sector would be under a lot of pressure right now. Especially, you know, if I just drive, from small town to small town. Most of these small towns, they're their commercial real estate is holding on by vape shops. Let's be honest about something here. All right, Riot, yeah, momentum today. You know, if you're in these stocks, they're momentum, right? Look at this, nice retest off that 20, way overvalued, not getting the value, but I do like that retest, seeing confirmation today. Beautiful charts here. Again, here's HUT coming off that 20-day, nice confirmation, big bullish candlestick today. That's a good one. Not getting the value there, not getting the forecasted data. Not there, still good. The nice pivot there as well. Actually, that's a nice pivot too. Nice pivot. Nice pivot. Trying to see if there's any other undervaluing. And that's it. That's the closest value is CleanSpark. Do your homework on CleanSpark though. Alright, let's do this. Alright, we've got 21 minutes. Hit that like button. Hit it. And we're not going to go off the likes. These are the stocks I want. I want stocks. Low market cap stocks. I want energy stocks. I want rare earth stocks. If it mines something, I don't care if it's a Bitcoin, silver, whatever. If it's a miner, also put it in the list, right? Because I know we all know about the gold, right? I don't need to go over gold stocks. You literally throw a dart at say the top 10 VST gold stocks in VectorVest. Throw a dart this year at gold, and you probably would have done all right, right? Probably would have done all right. So, give me something good here. Katos, CN. I don't want the Nvidias. I want us to make some money. We all know the old fish. We need some new fish. Who wants new fish? INTC. Is this Intel? We'll talk about it for a second, Shay. But the only thing Intel's got going on is Nvidia. Actually, I like Global Foundries a lot. I don't know if Global Foundries is on your radar. And one of my coworkers, I work part-time in this little restaurant sometimes. He used to work at Global Foundries. And I've gotten to hear all about Global Foundries. I was actually looking at him today because we were talking about it yesterday. He worked in the fab there up in New York City. Or not New York City, upstate New York. Let's see here. I want new fish. That's it. I'm getting rid of all these. What part of new fish y'all want to understand? I'm going through the list here. MOS, I don't know what that is. What's CEG? Constellation Energy, that's interesting. I've heard of it. I know what it does. Redwire Corp, I haven't heard of that one. AppLovin, I know what AppLovin is, Bill. I'm not worried about that one. I want the fish. Who wants the fish today? VLO, what's VLO? Valero Energy, we'll take a look at it. MicroStrategy, nope, that ain't the fish I want. What's SEI? Pretty sure I've heard of that one before. Solaris Energy Infrastructure, sold. VST, is this Vistra Energy? Sold. ET, what's ET? Energy, oh, y'all got the energy point. Y'all went straight to Bitcoin miners and AI miners, it sounds like. VRT, Vertiv Holdings, we can go back to it. NEM, which is NEM. Newmont, oh yeah, we gotta add that one to the list here. Meta, nope, that ain't on the list. WDC, which was that? Western Digital, that one we can add. I don't want a Mag 7 today. EVGO, which one is that? take a look at it. I forgot what that one was. STX? What's STX? Who wants some fish? Give me the fish here. I want the low market cap, see you on a yacht in 5 years type of stocks. CRK? Okay. WES? What's that one? Midstream? Interesting. FLNC? What is that one? Fluence Energy? Alright, so a lot of you guys have got the energy memo. I'm going through here if I missed it. FLNC, which is that? Fluence Energy? Okay. DeVault? Okay. ISMAY? That one, Pennywise, is not in VectorVest. Let's see here. SEI, I think I already added. Is that? Yeah, Solaris is already added. Yeah, I'm trying to get y'all some fish today. ABAT? No, Ryan, I'm telling you, NUAI. I think I added that, right? No, I didn't. It's all right, Michael. I just try to, a lot of stock. Roblox? You know what? Just because tonight's video is going to be on gaming, I'm going to tell you right now what stock's on my radar. Take-Two Entertainment. And the only reason why it's on my radar is EA is going private. So now, the only big boy in the gaming space, well, you got Roblox. Let's Take-Two Entertainment, right? And we're going to talk about it tonight. And I got some good stats for you as well. Like Take-Two Entertainment should be on your radar. All right, now I'm caught up in the comment section, I think, here. No, CCJ, that's the uranium one. It's not a bad one. Is it Guilt? Hey, Guilt, man. Is Guilt the one I did the video on? ZVRA. I gotta go back to Guilt. Hold on, I'm getting caught up to the comment section. Don't put any more stocks. Sorry for the spam. Bill, I wish I kept at 38. I want a bag. Yeah, we're gonna get some bags today. That's what I'm worried about. XBEV, big base. I cannot lie. We'll put SoFi. Hey, I talked about SoFi about a year ago. I like it. You didn't put ALIT. We put it. Let's see here. URG. Which one is that? Oh, your energy. Orla. No, we're not gonna do Orla just because of the gold. Actually, we'll take a look. Hey, we're already got 29 Orla. All right, this will be the last one. Which was Labu? Nah, we're not doing biotech. ARGX. All right, 30 stocks. We got 12 minutes. That's the first thing we want to do. First thing I want to do, I want to know where the market is mispricing stocks. I would take value divided by price because sometimes the market messes up, right? Warren Buffett talks about that the most. Market misprices stocks. And we're going to add one else. I don't know this one. EOSE. Open's already had its move. We're done with that one. Alice, good looking setup though. All right. Looks like we got a trade set up with that one. URG, I added. All right, we're done with stocks. We got to get to it. We got 32 here. First thing I want to talk about, valuation. Look at the first undervalued stock. ALIT, 150. Price, 325. Low price stock. Value, 489. It's got a sale. So clearly there's something going on in the news there. Make sure you Google it before you just buy this bad boy. I'm telling you right now. Just telling you right now. You better Google, see what's going on. But that might be the first one you want to have on your radar. Like Newmont was 85. We got 122. Western Digital, 114, 157. All this stuff. Look at the value ends right here. Obviously with the ETFs. Down here, overvalued. These are all overvalued. So we got to look for a reason why these are going up, right? Now let's go over here to the right. Where's my growth play at? All right, look at this one here. ARG should be on your list. SoFi should be on your list. This Zevra here should be on your list. Actually, I'm going to go through these stocks. Yeah, it keeps messing me up here. All right. Just so y'all should know. But yeah, these should be at the top of your list here. They've got the highest earnings growth rate of all these bad boys. And let's go to sales. Where's sales at? I think I adjusted my columns. Sales growth rate. Look at that. 482. That sucker might be at the top of the list again. Not far behind it. EOS. NUAI. Is that new AI too? Yeah, it definitely has to do AI. Look, it's up 20%, well overvalued. This is gonna be a momentum play here. Well, momentum play. But yeah, these should be at the top of your list, or put them on your list here. Data Vault. Let's go in the charts. But yeah, we looked at value, we looked at earnings, we looked at sales growth rate. You know, the top 5 that appeared, those should definitely be on your radar. NUAI, IPO. Good to know. We've been looking to do more IPOs, Michael. Thanks for putting that on my radar. NUAI. Might do a video on that this week. I do like a good IPO. But we've seen it before. That fuel can end pretty quickly with those IPOs. So just make sure, you don't get stuck holding the bag there. But EOS Energy, clean energy. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Earnings per share is declining, though. Forecasted data is phenomenal. But the earnings per share is dropping. So I'm going to stick to the momentum right now of this position. And look, it's just lower left, upper right. And because this thing went parabolic. Oh, Ryan, aren't you glad you went back there? Look at that. What am I going to say that is? Probably going to get some rejection here soon, right? You see that? Again, oh, if not, let me make it bigger. There we go. First warning sign. Boom, right? But what I do like, we got the rejection. Guess what? We're going right back up there, right? So this thing's going to be some volatility. So if this is your first time seeing EOSE, I ain't going to rush to buy it until it gets above this upper trend line. And I'm expecting a short-term parabolic move with a retest on top of it. Otherwise, this thing's going to take a breather and probably finds a good resting area around this 20-day EMA, which is actually shaping up to be right where I want it. No, actually not really. It's way over. But yeah, either way, I see the rejection off this line here, so just be careful of that. Be careful of that one. Michael, sorry, I don't think IPO, my bad. It was a ticker name change after they changed their company name, so sorry. Okay, either way, petroleum, U.S. exploration, New Era Energy and Digital Inc., New AI. What, is this like a petroleum AI play? I like the penny stock. I mean, the momentum's to the upside here. There's not enough candlestick data for me to, give you a good inclination here. Oh, or good advice, just to be honest with you guys. I'm seeing a lot of upper wicks. I ain't chasing it. I'd probably just put it in star search and just let the star search lay. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I guess my star search not wanting to look. Oh, star search can't even be calculated. AI based GPU energy. What? Yeah, we're gonna have to look. We'll do some more research on this one here. This might get you a bag. But right now, that bag is a little too dangerous with this just a little bit, just this little of a data, very gappy. I can't even put star search on here. Look at the moving averages. What was the little guy we were just talking about where it was only intraday channel? It was an intraday descending trend line and got rejection, ended up being a short candidate. We'll see. Sorry, that was confusing sentence. Just trying to summarize while I manage day trades. Oh, you're good. But yeah, this one, I'm not a chaser of it, but this just looks interesting. I'm doing some more research. I'd put this in a little watch list here. Let's go back to my layout here. I love my layout. It's just simple, and it gives me the power of the VectorVest 7 software with some some very basic technical indicators that usually investors find pivot points off of. I'm going to tell you right now, look at the values. Nice stair step fashion. I like this. For a drug company, for the valuation, a lot of these drug companies are overvalued, but the forecasted data, 40, 482. You know what I mean? I don't ever talk about drug companies, but this one right here might just be the one you want to pay attention to, right? I mean, it's a turnaround story, too. Look at the earnings per share. Negative, the positive. And as far as the technical, you see RT just now becoming favorable. Just getting above those moving averages, logically, if you get a pullback to that 40-day or 20-day for the retest here in the near future, probably not going to be surprised. Look for the pivot off of that. Oh, and look at the 200-day. Oh, that's a 200-day too. So I'm definitely not going to be surprised if price actually comes back to, what was that about? Down about $1 to find that support level and then pivot off of it. So yeah, if you see that pullback short term, don't worry too much. unless you see a break. Oh, Milton, welcome to the being a VV Nation Insider. Thank you for that, Milton. I love getting support for the channel. Here's Data Vault. Ooh, it's a hard sale. Growth rate 21%. Sales growth rate 403. Value jumped up. Undervalued. But yeah, see, anytime you get something undervalued, you see, I was looking at this before, the trend line here. And look at that. Broke the trend line and off. Man, I wish I would have recognized the stock. Could have gave you a great trade setup. Now, just look for the retest of the 20. And honestly, I just want to see the valuation. I'm less concerned about the price action, more concerned about this valuation. I want the valuation tick back up. So we got some excitement, but that excitement's fading away, right? So for me to really get, pumped up about this, I want to see that value tick up. Because I can already tell you, I don't have a crystal ball, but the retest on that 200-day, probably very likely. And I wouldn't be surprised if it fiddled around a little bit, get that 20 closer to that 200-day, so that way we can take care of business all at once. URG, lower left, upper right, steady Eddie, as long as it stays above that 40. And right now we're actually getting touches on the 20. So it shows a really healthy rally. Forecasted data, 26%, 124, a lot of fuel in that tank. I like it. Another good one. This is uranium mining here in case you got too many gold stocks. You need some, need some other miners. Solaris Energy. Let's go to 1 year. I see the potential for that. Definitely see the potential for this stock. We get a breakout for these prior highs as well. Growth rate, turnaround story, 20%. Sales, earnings per share. Gotta like it. That's a good one there. Can't complain. Here's our ARGX. Look at this. That value is just creeping on up there. This might be good. That's expensive stock. $718 though. Just a heads up. Forecasted data 47. Rising earnings per share. That's a nice steady rise in earnings per share too. This stock has been moving sideways for quite some time here. I'm just curious. Boom. Broke above it. I don't know. I just want to see it stay above 674, honestly. Like, give it some time for that value to keep going. But I do like the stock. It's just expensive. It's a drug company, so be careful on it, though. Here's Comstock Resources. Ooh, nice. Look at this. Big sell-off. But look, we're just getting above the 20-day now. Or sorry, the 200-day. The 20 EMA is now crossing above the 40-day. So we're really starting to see a shift in the trends here of this position. Again, this is CRK Comstock. Growth rate and earnings turnaround as well. Went from negative to positive. Only 3, but hey, it's a lot better than negative. Sales growth rate 91. Earnings per share rock and rolling. Look at that. RT finally ticked back up too. Right above that 200-day. Yeah, that's a good one. Pay attention to it. That's a good one. Let's see here. EVGO. Oh, see, I got the retest. Not a very strong retest here. Overvalued. I'm not the biggest fan of this stock, to be honest. I don't know what it is. The forecasted data is all right. I would have just liked to see there's a bit of hesitation on the pivot of this 200-day, right? We can see a little bit of liveliness, but it kind of stopped at the prior swing high. So unless it gets above that swing high, which we're not far away, maybe 10, 15 cents higher, that's the confirmation I want to see to the upside on this position. Here is Cameco. This is a uranium company here. Honestly, it just looks like it's taking a breather. I mean, the stock went from what, $40 to $80. It's taking a breather, just like Nvidia and the rest of them, right? So I'm not going to be too scared of it. The forecasted data, whoo, like it. I like it a lot. Thanks whoever dropped CRK. Nice backside of a V play, right? That's why I like this idea. Let's not go over the same stocks every day in these live streams. We want new fish, new blood. We want some money, right? We want to make some money. That's what it comes out. Y'all don't watch me just because I tell a good joke once in a while. All right, but this one, again, uranium ain't going anywhere. And that's really going to be probably our ticket to make up the gap in energy need for AI is going to be uranium. And this stock, well poised for it. I do like the valuation creeping up. But again, a lot of these plays, Me and Glenn, we've been talking about this for a while now, and it just looks like investors are willing to pay premium, right? Just like we're seeing with UAMY, some of these other, politically Chinese-driven stocks, whatever you want to call it, decoupling. But yeah, I see why people are paying premium. Here's Gilead Satellite Networks. Is this the one I did the video of? I forget who put in GILT. But I'm gonna tell you right now, values on the rise, price action on the rise. This was an undervalued, cheap stock. Great forecasted data. This is the kind of stock you want for the baggers, right? Because let me tell you right now, it's much easier to get in a bag opportunity and a small market cap, smaller price stock. Well, the price doesn't really matter, but the market cap's more important. With great forecasted data, undervalued, right? That's what I'm looking for. This, and now it's just showing my favorite chart pattern. Value rocketing, price rocketing, right? So if you're in it still, if I did do the video, I'll have to look back. I'm almost positive I do a lot of videos lately. I ain't going to say, oh, Israel? Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into Israel, but if it's an Israeli company, hey, I'll tell you right now, I studied ballistic missile defense systems. Actually, my senior thesis. Israel's got some great technology, and you can see this is a satellite company here. You can see the value rising. So, kudos. But yeah, this is a great stock. Ain't nothing to lie about it. VRT, Vertiv Holdings. This is like an AI data center play kind of thing. I'm gonna say right now, we talked about this a while ago. A lot of that premium is getting baked in. You can see the stock price just kind of fluctuating around these highs here. Value not really climbing. So if this stock, doesn't start moving here sooner than later, I don't know where you got it in at, but if you're up quite a bit, sitting in a stock not doing a whole lot. It's not going to do a whole lot. But yet, I want price action to get back and moving. Otherwise, I'm going to start moving on to another company. But I do like Vertiv Holdings overall. Yeah, no, Bill, we've talked about it quite a bit. I even said, scooping it around this valuation here during the tariff turmoil. That was the play. And even back here, you can see it's always traded at a premium. But look at the value going up, though. Maybe it's just going to take a little while for value to go up a little bit more. But just, Dell, was it Supermicron? Those are the competitors of Vertiv Holdings, just FYI. All right, let's look at the other one. SoFi. Ooh, oh, look what happened. Retested that line. Who would have seen that coming? Come on now. You already know what am I going to say? If we don't get the pivot, start getting defensive, right? Start getting defensive. Well, look, we see this a lot. When it breaks above these lines, you just get a little parabolic move, and typically it likes to come back, right? VRT recommend reverse head and shoulders. Yeah, that does look like reverse head and shoulders, but the only problem is usually a reverse head and shoulders happens in a downtrend, right? So, depends how you want to look at it, but typically reverse head and shoulders, by definition, would happen in a downtrend, signaling a trend reversal, kind of like we saw in video. All right, it's 102. We got to scan through these here, but again, retest, no shocker. STX finally hit its valuation. Let's go to a year here, $225. I mean, this is beautiful company here. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think the bags, they're already baked in. So if you're looking at this one for bags, I mean, it could happen, but the real bag opportunity is probably behind itself. WDC, memory devices, look at this. Value keeps rocking, price keeps rocking. Yeah, we see a little, what is this line off of here? Why am I going off of that line? There's gotta be something back here. Yep, that is from that prior high. And this looks like where we're trying to find support. So yeah, I just want to stay above this line right here, 105. And honestly, if it comes back, it might break that for the 20-day EMA. But if it breaks much below that, especially the 20-day EMA, get a little bit more defensive, because then you're just going to be giving up a lot of profits if it finds its way back to the 40-day. Fluence Energy, look at that. Nice break above the 200, right? So if you gain that momentum, hey, but I'll tell you right now, I'm already thinking about the retest. It might not hit that 200, but that 20-day is going to look real good. Forecasted data is just getting worse by the month, it looks like. So I don't know if that's the bagger I'm looking for. This one here, Value rising, price rising. Price is up at what? Value's at 170. It's financial credit services, great. You know, if you could get into this closer to $100, hey, it might take it till next year, most definitely. But this thing could go back up to 200, get close to 200. I mean, look at our valuation; it's not far from there. Where's WDC? WDC is a sell as soon as it turns to go down. Well, yeah, our sell recommendation is just based off price action. So if it does cross below our stop price, it will go to a sell. Retest. That's a steady Eddie. I do like healthy retest last time. Let's see if it happens this time. That could be a good one. Otherwise, put a nice tight stop on it. But nice stock overall. Newmont. The value alone is over 120. Right now we're trading 85. That's a potential bag. And honestly, we've been talking about gold for a while. You already got a bag in it so far this year. Gold just keeps on climbing. It keeps on climbing. I would not be surprised to see gold just blow past 4,000. I got to do a video on gold too. But I see gold going much higher in the upcoming years. That's all I'm going to say about gold. NEM also does copper. Nice. You get a little bit of exposure there as well. Roblox. No bag opportunities with Roblox. I'll tell you right now. MCore. No bag opportunities here. Consolidation. You know, put a line at the high, put a line at the low, look for the breakout, act accordingly. Here's CEG, Constellation Energy. I don't see the bag potential here. And I'm right at resistance. You see my little resistance lines? It hits it every time. Until we prove Ryan wrong and that's no longer resistance, I ain't getting in it. Vistra Energy, higher low. So that's a good sign. I'm not going to say this is the bag opportunity. Forecasted data is not bad. Rising earnings per share. Again, not a stock to worry about, but not the bag. Messiah, this could be the bag right here. Look at the value just going bonanzas right now. $34. We value at $47. Above the 200-day. Look at the growth rate. Everything's a turnaround story here. Growth rate positive, sales positive, EPS. This one have on your radar. Have that one on your radar. NEM also does copper. Yep. No, yeah. Hey. That's good to get. A lot of these mines, you have to look at their portfolios, right? And again, I'm so bullish on mining right now. I don't care if it's a Bitcoin, Ethereum, copper, gold, uranium, antimony, gallium, whatever you want to name. If it mining something, that's what I like right now. As far as this one, petroleum, I don't like anything about this. The value dropped below the 200-day. We can't get above the 200. There's not a bag in there. The only thing this is going to give you is probably a headache. Let's just be honest here. Labu, whoever gave me this, you're right. It's a good trade setup. Nice retest. Nice pivot off the 20. This will be triple leverage. Biotech. This is good. The sucker can move, right? All right, went from 40 to 90 to a little bit. RT, bulls are the favor right now. Bulls are in control. I do like this one. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was you, Alex. Yeah, I do like that. That's a nice trade setup there. I'm not mad at it at all. Just let's see where the target should be, though. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Boom. So we're not far from the target. You're looking at about 96 and some change to about 101 and some change. So that's just my target. Not saying it can't blow past it, but that's where we see the first hurdle. Alight Inc. Values declining, price action declining. That's not going to be a bag. That's unless you shorten it, you might get a bag. Otherwise, that's going to be a headache, in my opinion. Even the forecasted data, no. Not with the value declining and the price declining. That's what I don't want to see, right? That's what I don't want to see. Energy Transfer LP, rejection at the 200-day, and it's doing a whole lot of nothing. Petroleum, I'm telling you, unless that petroleum is helping AI in some way, I'm not going to be that bullish on petroleum in general. EOG Resources, petroleum, again, petroleum is not doing a lot. Unless your petroleum stock has got news about AI or, getting in the AI, energy field, that stuff, it's going to look like this pretty much. So not the bag opportunity, Valero Energy, you got your bag almost. The value's rising. See what the news is here. Because look, this is a petroleum company. Value's rising and price is rising. Yeah, it's overvalued. I get it. But it looks like the forecasted data not good either. EPS, Yeah. Tablet, yeah, Bitcoin mining, Ethereum mining. Well, a lot of the other cryptos don't even really use miners. They're different style. They're not self-governed, essentially. Some of them are. But, yeah, mine anything, you know. And for the Bitcoin miners and Ethereum miners, not so much about mining the Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, you know, if those go to the moon, obviously the stocks will go to the moon. But they already have the existing infrastructure that the AI data centers need, right? They've got the GPUs. They've got the cooling. They've got the utility contracts, right? Yes, BP partnering with Palantir. All right, so yeah. So unless your petroleum company has got some news about some AI or something to get investors excited, because I'm telling you right now, the oil prices are not going to get these companies to give you a bag. It's not about the oil, if it goes from what was it 65, it jumps up to 72 for a little bit. It's not what the real money is about, right? Yeah, you can swing trade that with the petroleum company, but I want the ones that are like, hey, look, this is a perfect retest on the 200 day. You see the break and the 200 didn't quite retest it here, right? Came up short, came back down. Actually, look, this thing, you can just trade like a little fiddle, right? Boom, 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 boom. You see the consolidation, break out to the outside, retested it for real that time, and then pivoted. I like it. I'm just going to say it's a little overstretched right now. I'm not going to say jump in it, but do your homework and make sure there's an AI story in place with this petroleum company. Redwire, aerospace and defense. Look at this. The value popped up, but it's pulling back here, right? We almost got a good deal or fair value on it. Let's see that value do something one more time. If I get another jump and now the stock's undervalued, because stock really ain't doing nothing right now, it's just moving to the side, so I don't need to rush into it, that's for sure. You see it just moving to the side, right? As long as it's moving to the side, look at value. If that value pops up again, yeah, I might take a nibble before the breakout, right? Otherwise, I'd wait for the breakout and act accordingly. Forecasted data, 8, -21, not buying it in those regards, or the EPS. But I do like this valuation here. Aerospace defense, especially when they're drones. I don't know what they do, but they do something forward-thinking drones. Oh, bioprinting. I'm not even sure what bioprinting is, Pennywise. Up 9%. AI. Hood is? All right, we're going to take a look at Hood real quick. We got to get through these golds. No. There's way too many better gold, silver mines than that. That is the one I don't want to be in. I'm telling you right now. Sphere, what is the price on that? Yeah, there's too many good ones out there. That one just looks real speculative, and gold don't need to be that hard to make some money. Any Sphere 3D, hey, this computer company, 3D, sounds forward thinking, undervalued, penny stock, any, ANY. The only thing here, look at this, value declining, price declining, right? This person, whoever gave this stock, did all the work for you, because value's flat, price is flat, but now look what's happening. Value's ticking up, price is ticking. We're right in the infancy. ANY. This is actually getting written down. This is the one. I'm not saying buy it now, but this is the one you at least should put in your watch list. Google it a little bit. Do a little homework and see if it makes his sense, right? But it looks good overall, and we are way over time. It's 1:13. Joey's probably going to kill me. Nah, he's not. Joey's cool. All right, everybody, I hope this was a good Monday presentation. Really just trying to put fish. Yeah, right, ABB fish, ANY. That's the one you want to reel in a little bit, right? That's the one. 74 cents. Heck, I might buy a little bit of that. But I already see what's happening. We break the 200, look for the retest. Well, we're right at the 200, so if you open a small position, I can't be mad at it, especially still undervalued. But look for the retest, right? That's what we look for. We look for retest, breakouts, and confirmation on this channel. We don't try to guess stuff. All right, on that note, love you guys. Take care. Tonight's video, Take-Two Entertainment, Grand Theft Auto 6. If you're a gamer, definitely check it out. And if you're not a gamer, this is a generational stock, right? So, if you got grandkids, you got kids, you're thinking about giving them a stock, tonight's video is going to tell you exactly why. You guys have a good one. Take care. Bye.